Hello and welcome to the latest MUTV group chat on the 1st of July. Premier League football in July. Who would have believed it? In fact, who would have believed Premier League football in June? But that's where we're at. And it was a great Premier League match for United last night. And we've got our usual panel of guests here. Ben Thornley, Wes Brown, David May and Danny Webber. Let's begin with you, Ben, because you were at the Amex. What performance by United?
Yeah, from start to finish, they pressed. They passed the ball brilliantly. There was fluidity, which culminated in the third goal, which, when you think back to the Sheffield United goal last week that was started deep inside the Sheffield United heart, this one was a towering header by Harry Maguire out of his own area, and then there were 5 touches with the ball ended up in the back of the net within probably about 7 or 8 seconds. It was an absolutely brilliant goal, and it was just an all-round tremendous team performance. And Brighton, where we've struggled in recent seasons and lost both games, it never ever looked in danger last night, and they made some changes at half time, brought on a couple of forward thinking players, but the third goal, 6 or 7 minutes into the second half, just completely killed the game off, and United just won it at a canter, but played some great stuff along the way.
So, yeah, must have been a late finish for you, Ben.
It wasn't actually too bad. I was just saying to the lads that getting back from Brighton with no crowds, when I'm at Old Trafford, I've probably got back in quicker time than I would do when I was staying in Manchester fighting my way through the traffic. So it wasn't too bad, but I think Stuart was probably a little bit later than me going all the way back to Manchester.
Yeah, that's true. Wes, you were with me at Old Trafford. Maisie, you too. Danny, we gave you the night off, didn't we? So what'd you get up to?
What did I get up to? So I travelled down to London. I was due to get a flight this morning to Austria, and then the flight got cancelled when I got to London. So I've just sort of making my way back and found myself in Birmingham, stayed at my cousin's house, and that's where I am. I'm travelling back, hence why I'm in the car.
So when you get back soon, won't you? And then you have to reschedule your flight to Austria, I suppose. But you saw the goals, you've seen some of the highlights. We'll chat more about that game in a minute. We'll begin this section, though, with some comments from previous shows. The first one is this, and it's about the forfeit. Now, obviously, when I stood in for Stuart last time, and we were talking about getting a forfeit on with Wes and Stu doing a duet. So we've had a few comments on that. This one from Susan Moon. Leave the lad alone, she says. He had an early night, bless him. Thoroughly enjoyed the group chats, kept me going whilst isolating with great subjects and lots of laughter too. So glad the season has started. Thought we should have done better against Tottenham and got a win in that one. Dean Robinson has said, this group chat is the best thing that ever happened to me. Kush Kunis says, miss these every day. Of course, we're not quite doing them every day at the moment because there's a lot of football, a lot of other things going on. Praveen Kumar says, can't wait to hear Stu sing. Love the banter, and you have all been a blessing for us during these tough times. Thank you for the chats and keeping us glued to the show. Virtual hugs, and that's from Mangalore in India. And finally, this one, Jonathan Ball says, David May, he's a top lad. Everyone he's paid says so. How do you know that statement is a lie? David May pay for something. I think that's a bit harsh. I've been out on a night out with you, Maisie, and you've definitely sticking your hand in your pocket. So we'll defend you on that one. Any support for Maisie on that one, boys?
Definitely. Generous to a...
There you go, yeah, exactly. Is Jonathan Ball a mate of yours, Maisie's? Messaging in to wind you up or something?
No. These are my mates.
Good lad. Yeah, we can definitely defend Maisie on that one. He is not the last to the bar, that's for sure, when we're on night out. Right, let's get on to the choice of...
The last at the bar.
Stuart, what do we reckon? Stuart's got to do this forfeit, hasn't he? He's got to sing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's just delaying it, isn't he, lads? I don't know where he is.
He's running delayed. That's what it is.
Where's he tonight? Where's he today?
We're giving him the day off because of the long trip back from Brighton. So.
All right, so Ben can do it. Danny can do it. Danny can play. But he can. So he's having a lie-in.
So what you're saying, double forfeit?
Well, should do something, certainly. And this excuse that he's having a lie-in, a load of crap. It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we're definitely going to make him sing, and there is going to be a choice of 5 songs. Stuart will provide the choice of 5, so we're going to get on to him about that. And then you boys will pick one of the 5 for him to do.
Right.
Does that sound
Okay.
fair?
Hit me, baby, one more time in a school uniform.
Are we just now hearing about one of Maisie's fantasies or something? This is getting dark.
I think that would suit you down to a T.
I can't wait to see that. It's going to be not the Stuart in school uniform, by the way. Stuart singing. That's what we want to see. Right. Anyway, let's get back to more serious matters than last night's game. We briefly heard from you, Ben. Chat more to you in a second. But Wes and Maisie, the 2 of you were at Old Trafford, and we all watched it. Wes, the morning after that game, your thoughts on it?
I mean, it was brilliant from kickoff, from the start. Completely took control. Brighton tried to sort of defend quite deep and get everyone behind the ball, but the way we were moving the ball and the 3 midfielders, Mason cutting in, it was just a bit too much for him. And I know there's a lot of confidence now in the team from the last few performances since we've come back. And it was just really good. I was just smiling the whole way through it. You could see, things the lads were trying were coming off, and we were scoring goals, and it's exactly what we need at the moment.
Maisie, particularly the 3rd goal, when watching that, we were marveling at just the fluidity of that counter-attack, reminiscing of days gone by when that used to be our hallmark. Just such a terrific performance from the lads.
Yeah, just as Wes said there, we got straight into the faces early on. Always helps when you get an early goal. But as Wes said, they sat back. But I honestly think that's our strongest team. Mason's come in. He's done what he's had to do. He's scored a goal. That's then puts pressure on Dan James when he comes in because he has to start performing. And me and Wes spoke about it last night that you need competition in all positions. If one player comes in, does a job, scores a goal, creates something, then they're more likely to stay in. And Mason was absolutely fantastic last night. He really was. Scored one, set one up. Bruno and Pogba, that's only going to get better. And it's great to see Paul playing with a smile on his face and everybody smiling. Bruno smiling away. Just a great performance. So it's a tough place to go, as Ben touched on it. But great performance. It really was. 3rd goal was brilliant.
Yeah, and Danny, you've seen just how tough it is there for United in the past. So to win there and win so comfortably, just does that show the progression that Ollie and his side are making right now?
I think it does. I mean, these were the games that, like you say, you go back over the last 4 or 5 years and we'd be expecting to win and we'd be deflated at the end of it because we've not got the result. And we'd always do well against the big teams, but that would sort of stop us in our sort of charge to get where we want to get. But now you're looking at it, we swept aside Sheffield United, who were a good side, Brighton yesterday, and I just think we've got the mentality right at this moment in time, and it can only get better. So it's just good to watch, scoring goals, people playing with a smile on the face. The lads have said it there. So yeah, really, really moving in the right direction. If you add even more quality and competition to that, then the foundations are there.
And we've all spoken so much about Bruno Fernandes, but just when we think we've seen it all, he goes and produces something else or another piece of magic or scores 2 goals like he did last night. Ben, what else can you say about him since he arrived here in Manchester?
He's given everybody else a lift. I think when you're coming into a club like Manchester United, it's very, very difficult. When you've been brought up with it, the transition to get into the first team because you're familiar with your surroundings is a little bit easier. But to actually come in and take the bull by the horns, as it were, and give everybody a lift with your performances, and without being too vocal, he's a little bit like Eric Cantona when the immediate impact that he had. He wasn't massively vocal on the pitch, but you just knew that if you gave him the ball, something would happen. And he's always available. He finds these little bits of space all over the pitch where he's on the half turn and he can allow things to happen. He seems to have an incredible footballing brain. He knows exactly what he wants to do. And the fact that he played on Saturday at Norwich and we arguably saw by far his worst performance in the United shirt, you always feared for the opposition last night because after the way that he performed prior to that that wasn't going to happen again, and he duly came up with the goods. I think he's been a sensational buy, and I don't think it's any coincidence that United have been on the upturn ever since he's come into the side.
I mean, Ben, you say maybe not that vocal on the pitch. Wes, you might beg to differ because he's very vocal off it. You were saying when we were listening to his post-match interview, which you can hear again on the official app, that he speaks like a captain, he speaks like a leader. Wes?
Sorry, so. Can you hear me? I thought you were talking to Ben still. Yeah, no, just the way he was speaking on his interview afterwards. I thought it was very good. You know, the way he kept sort of bigging up his teammates and said everyone's in it together. You know, the way he gets the whole team playing. And we can see on the pitch when he's playing, everyone's trying to feed little balls in, little 1-2s. Everything's a lot quicker. And I think that's all down to him coming in. And sometimes you just need that extra, you know, piece just to get everything together. And for me, he's definitely the one. But like we said, he was captain at his last club. And, you know, the way he's gone about his business here and the way he's performing on the pitch and off it is definitely potential to, you know, be captain in the future as well.
Amazing. You know, when you're in a dressing room and a player comes into your club and you and the boys can instantly tell he's got quality, he's a superb player. Yeah. How does that lift you?
Oh, massively. I mean, I think the way Ollie's done it and the way he's looking at players, he's not going out buying superstars like the Di Marias and the Falcaos who think they are something special. It's going out getting players that fit the Manchester United way. And Bruno is that way. And when those players come into the squad, you know that they're not here just for the money. They're not here just for the ride. They're here to improve Manchester United. And the way he's come in, the lads will agree, it's been absolutely different class. And that gives everybody a boost. You know, from the day he walked in, there's no ego about him. He's just a top player. And he's improved the team 20% easily. And he makes other players play better. He's lifted the whole team. And, you know, we've only seen him and Pogba play for, what was it? I think Statman Dave said 219 minutes. In that time, they've scored or created 8 goals, conceded none, which is incredible. You know, just over 1.5 games, which is brilliant. And you want to see that, and we will see that. It's only going to get better. So, yeah,
great stats, that's for sure. And Danny's just 25, so we can enjoy his football for many years to come.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it does help the side when you've got a goal-scoring midfielder who loves getting forward and scoring goals. I mean, the year before he came, I think he got 26 goals for Sporting, and that, you know, any striker would be buzzing with that. Never mind someone playing in the centre of the park. So, you know, he brings that, but his assists as well, his vision, his quality. He's got that drive. He's got a little nasty streak about him. He don't mind sticking his foot in as well. So,
like going on against Norwich, booting someone.
Exactly. But you need that little bit of fire, and it's infectious. The other lads think, okay, I'm with that as well. So he drags extra out of the people around him, and you know, to see the likes of Pogba, the likes of Martial playing with such a smile on the face, I think he's integral to the way they're enjoying the football as well.
Did any of you see the pictures of him drinking milk?
Yeah.
Before a game, you've seen that?
Yeah, I saw it.
I don't know why the pictures came. I mean, we've seen, like, for example, Rio eating the Jaffa cakes on the pitch that time, these little things. Is that where strength comes from, Ben? Nice, healthy glass of milk?
I've absolutely no idea, but it must be doing him some good if he's performing the way that he is. So if that's what makes him feel comfortable and that's what he thinks is going to give him that little bit extra, then long may it continue. I don't think anybody has a problem with that.
Well, we all know that if you don't drink your milk, you'll only be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley, don't we? So he's obviously... Come on. Maisie's not having that one.
I don't think any of us are.
But yeah, he's definitely doing something to keep his game at the very top, isn't he? And that partnership you mentioned with Pogba, Ben, how much more growth is there in that partnership? How much better can that become?
I think it can become, you know, a lot better. I think you're only seeing it in its infancy at the moment. They haven't had a lot of time to play together. Only what they will have done behind closed doors and in training. But already you can see that they're looking for each other, and they both have confidence in each other, and that just runs throughout the whole team. And going back to the performance against Sheffield United and the performance last night, where people probably might have expected United to come unstuck in those games. Danny's already mentioned it, that's where United have let themselves down a little bit in the past, where they've done well against the big sides, and they've sort of come unstuck when you're expecting them to keep that run going. But as it stands at the moment, they're full of confidence. I think Paul Pogba coming back into the team, and we all know what Bruno's already achieved. And just to shed a little bit more light on that, there's only Bayern Munich in the whole of Europe that is on a current longer unbeaten running streak than United. And I think Fernandes has been the one player that's been involved in more goals than anybody else in the last 6 months in Europe as well. So it's no coincidence that Man United are doing so well. And the introduction of Paul Pogba to play alongside him, to feed him, to make the runs for him, to complement him, really. I think that this partnership is something that we were all relishing, and we can now see it coming to the fore.
Danny, we heard a bit from the boys last night about Mason coming in from the start. How impressed were you with Mason's performance, and what sort of threats does he offer when starting on that right-hand side?
I think everybody knows I've been a massive fan of his for the last sort of 3 or 4 years, seeing how he developed. And I always knew he just had that twinkle in his eye that he just step up, and whatever you put in front of him, he'll always be able to handle it. But he seems like the past couple of months he's used lockdown well he looks like he's put on a few kilos of muscle.
Yeah, Wes and Maisie was saying that. He looks...
He's filling out his shirt, his legs look strong, and that gives you confidence. Again, when you're competing against men and you're 18 years old, that gives you confidence, let alone the ability that he's got. And you watch his goal last night, he's got the little lollipops when he comes steps into the box, and he gets his shot really early. It goes through the guy's legs. And his accuracy, though, is absolutely unbelievable. He had a shot, I think, when he came off the bench, not last game, the game before, and it went wide, and everyone was surprised. Everyone went, what? Like, 'cause he's not hit the target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's just been brilliant, and I just think he'll get better and better and better. 13 goals in your debut season's fantastic, and I love everything he's about. I really do.
And a thing or two about scoring at top level, Danny. How hard is it? You know that you said scoring through the legs of the opponent. How hard is that to do? Because there didn't look like there was a lot of space in the area. And Wes and Maisie both said the defender had done nothing wrong, really. He was in a decent position.
I think the hardest part when you're that young is just stepping up and not changing something you've done in the reserves, or because you think he's like literally done exactly what he's done throughout the levels. So it's not just a case of, okay, I'm playing in the Premier League. He's not overthought it. He's just playing football like he's playing on the park, and that is a hard enough skill. I know when I remember making my debut, and it was all going through my head like, okay, right, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and it takes you away from what's normal to you, just playing football. But he's just done it seamlessly, and I think he'll get better and better and do it with a level of humility that sort of that works for him. So yeah, good luck to him.
And Wes and Maisie, you're both impressed again with Nemanja Matic in the centre of the park.
Yeah, Nemanja stepped up. He's a seasoned pro now. He's one of the older boys, and at the beginning of the season, you probably wouldn't have seen him get in the team because Scott and Fred were playing so well. But out of all of this, he's the one that's come through, really pushing it and playing really well. It looks like he's stepped up his pace a little bit. Complete control there at the back, starting the play, and he's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's going to be hard for him to come out of the team at the moment.
Yeah, that's for sure. Maisie, you happy with how Nemanja's playing? I mean, Ollie did hint at some of the best football of his career, he believed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Wes touched on it. Probably start of the season, maybe possibility of him leaving, but he's stepped up to the plate and has been absolutely outstanding. He really has, and he makes United what it is. You can sit there, control it. The ball to Mason for the third goal was sublime. But what he does do, he sits in front of two centre halves and just dictates play and lets the other lads do what they have to do. Whether it's Fred, Pogba, Scott in there or Bruno in there, it gives them the license to run forward and do what they do.
Just before we talk about the FA Cup draw, reaction, just quickly on the league position. Ben, we're up to fifth now. Great goal difference. You mentioned that in commentary, actually. That could be important come the end of the season, that goal difference. But with Leicester and Chelsea just ahead of us, yes, they played tonight, but, it's such a competitive race now for the top four. And we were saying, Wes, Maisie and I last night, perhaps Leicester are the team that should be most worried.
I think that's right with the way that they've started. They're struggling to score goals. They're not picking up victories. And I think Wolves, ourselves and Chelsea are all eyeing on knocking Leicester beneath all three teams. I think it was brilliant that we scored 3 goals last night, obviously won the game and kept the pressure up on Chelsea. Leicester have got a particularly difficult game tonight at Everton, and obviously they've got the other thing on the mind now with Leicester going into partial lockdown. They're not playing well. We know what Wolves are all about. They don't score many goals. They don't concede a lot of goals, and they've got a bit of a similar run into us as well with the teams that they've got to play. I think what is going to be very, very interesting is if those 4 teams stay, where they are, maybe jigged around a bit. The last fixture throws up us against Leicester and Chelsea against Wolves, and that could definitely sort out who has the European places, depending obviously on what happens with the Manchester City thing, which I believe is announced on the 13th of July.
Yeah, that would be an amazing last day of the Premier League season, wouldn't it? If all 4 teams in the hunt for Champions League places are playing each other. Now, we've not had one of these shows since the draw for the FA Cup was made, so let's get your thoughts on that, beginning with you, Danny. Chelsea at Wembley, albeit in front of no fans, should be a terrific game.
I think it will be a good game. The last 4 is really strong in the FA Cup. But Chelsea, they're in good form. Frank Lampard's got them at it. They've got a good side. I think they'll be up challenging next season as well. They made a few signings, but I just focus on ourselves, and I think that we can beat anybody. We've got that little bit about us, that grit, that bit between our teeth where we're up for the fight. And we've got the quality and the confidence to go and attack people. Ollie's shown time and time again playing against the big clubs. He's prepared to change things a little bit and set up to make sure it's to our advantage. So, it's all in our favour, but, showing the most respect to Chelsea because they're above us in the league and they're a top side as well. So it's set up to be a top semi-final.
I mean, the way the season started, Maisie, beating them 4-0 at Old Trafford. At that stage, we would have thought we're definitely going to finish above Chelsea in the league table. We looked a much better team that day. Obviously, the season has thrown up a lot of curveballs since, but who do you think has the best team on paper right now, us or Chelsea?
Us all day, mate. And I think over the next 2 or 3 games before the semi-final, they're all very, very winnable games. Bournemouth coming up at the weekend. And, if you can go win those games, you're going on an unbeaten run, 16, 17 games, taking that into I think as you're coming towards the end of the season, you need momentum, and we've got the momentum. Chelsea are a good team, but at Wembley, big open pitch, I can only see us winning, mate.
You agree, Wes? Only one winner?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can win. But I just think we've got a little bit too much for him at the moment. A lot of young lads with experience, and we'll go into that, very, very high on confidence, and I'm sure we'll be making lots of opportunities to score, and that's the main thing. And at the moment, the lads are putting them away. I just think we might have a bit too much, but it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be close. They're going to want to win it as well. It is for the final. And it also sort of represents a little bit, obviously, because we're chasing them in the league as well. So both teams, it's going to be a tough one. But I think the way we're playing at the moment and the confidence we're playing with, I think we can win the game 100%.
Wes, who would you rather play against, our forwards against, or Chelsea's front line?
100% Chelsea's.
Yeah.
That's
Tully,
doesn't it?
you can imagine Frank Lampard's team talk before that game as well, that not only is there a place in the final at stake, but they don't want to make it an unprecedented losing 4 times in one season to Man United.
Yeah.
Although we do
Ben,
owe
I've been
one at
impressed.
Wembley.
Sorry, mate. I've been impressed. Ben's brought out some stats today. You're
Yeah,
rivaling. Hey, mate, you're flying.
It was with Stuart last night. He's probably robbed him.
He's got them glasses on, them Google glasses that tells you.
The stat glasses on.
Ben's definitely been doing his homework, that's for sure. We do owe Chelsea one at Wembley, though, don't we? After they beat us in the last FA Cup final we played them in. We do owe them one for that. So let's hope we can get one over Chelsea for that. Right, that's just about it for this group chat. Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Now, Stuart obviously will be back tomorrow. There's a show tomorrow.
Oh.
And Stuart will be singing. So if ever there's a show, a group chat you want to see, it is tomorrow's group chat with Stuart singing. Come on, lads, you've got to be looking forward to seeing this.
Is he rehearsing today? Is that where he is? Has he gone for rehearsals?
He must have.
You
You know, when
rehearsing all week, Webs?
Rowetta was on group chat the other day, well, he's probably trying to speak to her now, see if he can get some tips. Maybe use a recording studio, get some kind of synthesizer on his voice. If he's going to do it, he normally does it properly. But yeah, that's a group to be missed. Ben, Wes, Maisie, Danny, thanks, boys. Enjoy your days. To everybody at home, stay safe, keep well, and we'll see you tomorrow.